haven't got all to bed, so that's our birthday.
The time is 6:33 p.m. and we are officially calling the Inkster City Planning Commission meeting to order. Roll call, please. Somebody, anybody.
Oh, well, the secretary. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna hold you up.
You can all have those in person.
But I need a list name.
I'll do it.
Full names. Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Present.
Commissioner Cheryl Hayes Bradford,
Present.
Commissioner Ashley Williams,
Present.
Chairman Stephen Chisholm is present, and Mayor Byron Oler.
Present.
We have two excused absences, Commissioner Tavan Hall and Commissioner Davis. I don't have, and then the absences are Commissioner Mac Willis and Commissioner Tanya Williams. I did speak with her prior, so I'm assuming she will be here unless something came up last minute. All righty, we have a quorum. We are moving down to item number 2, adoption of the agenda. Has everybody had an opportunity to review tonight's agenda?
Yes.
Are there any additions or corrections? Additions or subtractions?
Do I have to formally add something to the miscellaneous, or can we just call it miscellaneous?
Why not? I mean, it's miscellaneous. I know
Mm-hmm.
one thing was Google Drive or?
The drive, so a filing system, and then just the secretary responsibilities regarding to the minutes.
Okay.
And then apparently roll call, maybe.
All right. And roll call. Okay, so Google Drive filing system, secretary responsibilities, or recording secretary's responsibilities, and roll call. All right. Is there anything else? The floor is open for a motion to adopt the agenda with the additions under miscellaneous.
So move support.
This has been properly moved by Commissioner Hayes Bradford and supported by Commissioner McDaniel. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The agenda is now adopted. We're down to item number 3, adoption of the minutes. Item A, 3A, adoption of January 29, 2024 meeting minutes. Are there any additions or corrections are there any corrections to the minutes from this body? Hearing none, I do have some. And we could go down through these real quick because I already went through and marked everything. So going down to item number, roll call, it states who is present, and then where it says excuse. Commissioner Norman McDaniel, it says McDonald, last name should be McDaniel. Is that correct, Commissioner?
That is correct.
Okie dokie. And then scrolling down to adoption of the agenda, where the votes that were taken, because we only had 2 commissioners absent and we have a body of 9 total, the votes that carried should be 7-0. And you're going to notice that
Several places.
I think so.
okay, we're missing something. Hold on one second. I don't see Commissioner Mac Willis's name on here. Was he appointed at that time? I'm sorry, because this might be on my end. Was he appointed at the time, or when do we? Because I don't see him as marked as being present, nor absent, or excused.
I believe he was appointed.
In January? So, I mean, already?
Well, in December, I believe. Or was he already on?
He had taken his oath of office.
Was he expired? He was reappointed?
Reappointed, and then he had to take his oath.
I don't know when he took it. Or he took it. I just don't know when. He posted on social media. That's all I know.
Okay. That might be why everything was 6-0 this, so that might be a mistake on my end. Okay. It's here, because I know there was a delay with him taking his oath of office.
Yeah.
And then I don't think we'd have a meeting in February, so, okay, we'll just leave that as is. I think that might be right, just an oversight on my end. So turning the page, because there were no other corrections I had for there. At the top, Dr. Galani. I'm not sure how to spell her last name, but I know that's not
It's not the correct way.
right.
So,
Would either of you be able to go to the Chamber of Commerce's website real quick and pull up the correct spelling of her last name?
I know the going.
It should be listed on there because she's one of the officers, right?
You said Chamber of Commerce?
Yep. Inkster Chamber of Commerce.
Well, I think you could address it. We can staff and
Make that correction. Okay. Going down then a little bit below, let me see. So her name is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About 6 or 7 names down. Where it says Sander King, that should be Sandrew King. Then after that correction, turning the page. Item number 8 under miscellaneous where it says training opportunities. Or just above that, I see it says moved by A. Williams to approve and seconded by T. Williams, but there's no count for the votes.
shouldn't that be AC Williams?
It could be AC or A. Both apply.
AC sounds cool.
And I do go by AC.
All right, so that one, it should have a vote and tally, which I'm quite sure was 6-0. I don't think anybody voted no against and turned that stuff away. And then going down to item number 9, James Everhart, it should be a B instead of a B. So B for Bravo, so Eberhart.
no, he said his name is Eber.
James Eberhart?
Eber. You talking about the young man?
I went to school with him.
Well, he said his name was Eberhard to me.
His
He said it's not like the other ones. Ew. Just learn.
That's the neighbors, right?
The talk?
That's who we get, right?
That's how I do.
Yeah.
Oh, the sells champagne?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because I was asking him is related to the singer Eber. And he was saying gospel guy, and he said no, they're Eber. He's
ever.
No, he's Eber.
So, Jamie, you know who he is better than he know?
I was middle school with him. Well, we gonna leave it as is. I ain't even mess with that one. And then again, where it says right below his name, Sandra King, it should be Sandrew King. And those are all the corrections I have.
I'd have one on choked. And 7 at the Stumble Hayes. It just strapped like
Oh, Hayes Bradford. Okay. Thank you. All righty. Please let the record show that Commissioner Tanya Williams is present.
Yes.
All righty. And just before we move out of that, Commissioner Tanya Williams, do you know if at that time I think Mac Willis hadn't took his oath of office yet in January when we approved these minutes because his name's not down here for being present, excused, or absent. Do you have any recollection?
Mac was it then.
In January, January 29th? Okay, so,
I want to say he was too.
okay.
Yeah.
So let's change that. So then all the votes do need to change to 7-0.
Because wasn't that didn't you ask him to be the vice for the
She's Commissioner Williams is the co-chair.
okay.
But I want to see it was there because we arrived early for that one for those of us who were just appointed and had to take our oath.
That's right.
So
So he wasn't here that night then. He would have been here.
he didn't need to take the oath. I thought you said he did.
He did. But he took his that night?
I think he was here. I don't know if he took the oath, but I think he was definitely here.
Here, yeah.
He took the oath on his own time. It wasn't
Okay.
reserved for the meeting.
Yeah, but I'm almost positive that Mac was here that day.
Okay.
Golani is spelled Golani. Is that what you're asking?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So that was that correction. And then, all right. So are there any other corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, the floor is open for a motion to adopt the minutes for January 29th, 2024 with the corrections.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and heavily supported. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We're down to item number 4. First hearing of the public. This is for items not scheduled for a public hearing, but on the agenda.
That's nothing.
That's really nothing. Other than that, we're moving down to item number 5, public hearings. The floor is open for a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. The public hearing is now open. Item A, case number 24-1, Z, zoning map amendment to allow an R1B, one-family residential parcel to be rezoned to RM, restricted multiple dwelling, low rise. Conduct a public hearing for the consideration of amending the zoning ordinance to allow a zoning change from R1B to RM at 4301 Harriet. Mr. Dowdell, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairperson. 4301 Harriet, also known as Canterbury Estates. Just to give you the history, it was built in 1973 by the city of Inkster. And
3 or 78?
78, excuse me. Building is approximately 1.3 acres site, and it has 24 two-bedroom apartments on the site. The surrounding areas of it to the north is R1B, one family dwelling. To the south, R1B, one family residential district. To the east, one R1B, one family residential district, and to the west, one family. So it's surrounded, if you look on the map, it's surrounded by single family houses. In researching this, I can't find anywhere at any point the site was ever zoned anything but single family residential.
Okay.
That's not to say that it has, but it's just our records were unable to find that. And so one thing about this site is that when you have a site that doesn't fit the zoning use, but it's been in existence for a while, it's considered non-conforming. And so it can be used as long as it never stops, that use never stops. And so the section 155.1.85, as you see, states about a 3-year period. At some point within the last several years, the apartment complex was closed. So therefore, it lost its non-conforming status, which is why they're coming to us today asking for the rezoning. In planning terms, this is considered a spot zoning because we're taking one particular parcel and asking for it to be rezoned for the use. But based on the uniqueness of it as being that since 1978, it was an apartment building until at least 2015. That's something to take into consideration. The other thing to take into consideration is that the master plan, future land use, that's up above and over here to the side. To the east of the property, we have Harrison listed as a medium dwelling residential. So essentially, to the west of it, we're saying in the future, we believe that's going to be more density, which generally means multifamily apartments, things of that nature. So with that being in consideration, it may be helpful that at some point, because we're going to be changing our master plan, that we might consider going a little bit to the east, to the west, and include that block, which is between Pine and Annapolis.
Okay.
So,
Alrighty. I know we do have someone here from the Inkster Housing Commission, and I'm sure the commissioners or anyone from the public has questions for staff and the commissioners or the board, or anybody that's here on behalf of the applicant. Let me put it that way. So at this time, if you would approach the podium and state your name for the record.
and if I may, I do have a letter that was sent to us today. We only had one correspondence To my knowledge, that is sent, but that's from the lawyer, the attorney for
Cos.
the Houston.
You want to? Oh, is that the one we have here before us?
Yes.
Okay. Has everybody had an opportunity to look over this letter?
Yes.
No. Okay.
It should be read into the record. This is a public hearing.
We'll read it. March 25th, 2024. Honorable members of the City of Inkster Planning Commission. Application to rezone the property located at 4301 Harriet, Inkster, Michigan 48141 from R-1B to RM. Good evening, honorable members of the Planning Commission. My name is Milton Spokajny, and I am Milton Spokajny, and I am the attorney for the Inkster Housing Commission. I would ask this honorable body to favorably consider the rezoning of the property located at 4301 Harriet Street, Inkster, Michigan, also known as Canterbury Estates, from R1B to RM for several reasons. In this regard, as you may know, the Inkster Housing Commission was created by the City of Inkster in the 1950s. When this property was constructed, it was actually built around 1978. It was owned by the City of Inkster. This property and several other properties owned by the City of Inkster were conveyed by the City of Inkster to the Inkster Housing Commission in April of 2023. Obviously, when the property was built as residential multiple units, it was properly zoned. However, somehow the property got rezoned to a residential R1B use. At this time, the Inkster Housing Commission is simply requesting this body consider rezoning the property to RM in order to allow it to be used for the purpose that it was originally constructed and always used for. The property is located on an existing 1.35 acre site, and the buildings consist of 24 two-bedroom units. Currently, the buildings are unoccupied. The proposed zoning amendment would allow the continued use of this site for RM purposes. The use of the property is consistent with the current RM zoning districts, which are to the north and east of the property. Currently, two of the objectives of the city's master plan is to incorporate mixed income housing and to increase the city's tax base. Certainly, the rezoning of this property would accomplish both of these goals. By allowing the rezoning of the current site from R1B to RM, it would allow a currently exempt parcel of property to be placed on the city's tax rolls, generating income that would permit the city to deliver services, not only to the residents in the rezoned site, but to the surrounding community as well. Furthermore, the rezoning of this property would have no impact whatsoever on the city's ability to deliver services to the community, since the multifamily residential use for this has been in existence since 1978. Any additional costs that the city might incur would be absorbed by the additional revenue generated by placing this property on the tax rolls. Moreover, the zoning amendment would revitalize the property to the current building standards, and it would ensure the availability of housing that would be beneficial to the community by providing housing that is both accessible and affordable. In addition, it would ensure that the residents' health, safety, and welfare would be protected by delivering modern housing that is built under the latest standards. In addition, the rezoning would serve as a holistic betterment of the community. In conclusion, it must be emphasized that this property has always been used for RM purposes since the property was originally built in 1978. As previously stated, it was the City of Inkster that actually built these 24 units on the current site. The applicant is asking nothing more than to allow the property to be used for the purposes that it has always been used for, RM use. Respectfully submitted, Milton Spokajny, attorney for the Inkster Housing Commission. All right. So, Commissioner Miller.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'll lift this up so I don't mess my spot up. My name is Will Miller. I am one of the commissioners for the Inkster Housing Commission. I am sitting here to observe today. I'm going to be bringing up Mr. Elliott Patton. Mr. Elliott Patton is the procurement manager for the organization, so he's going to be going through and answering any questions that you may have and giving you any presentation information you may need.
Thank you.
Ready? Follow it.
Good evening.
Yes.
So my presentation was actually the letter. So
Oh,
thank you. You read much better than I do. My name is Elliot Patton. Yep. I'm the Procurement and Compliance Manager for Inkster Housing Commission.
Welcome.
Thanks. Any questions I can answer?
Commissioners, do you have any questions for the representative at this time?
I do. Maybe I don't know. Depending on the question, it might be directed between planning and you. And so we don't have any record of when the building stopped being used as multifamily, right? But we do have record when it was built in 1978 that at that time it was zoned for the proper use.
Believe so. Any is thought, from everything I've been told, we believe it was zoned RM originally.
Okay, RM. And then along the way, somehow, some way, it got rezoned, even though the property still existed. Does that make sense to anybody?
It happens all the time.
It happens all the time?
Yeah,
Okay.
so they rezoned it, I guess didn't address that property was multifamily. And then the property stopped operating. So if it kept operating, it'd be grandfathered in, it wouldn't matter. It just recently stopped operating. It was what, 15, 16, somewhere in there. 14, 15, 16. I remember when people lived there.
I did because my niece lived in there for a period.
'Cause we campaigned there. I mean, I've knocked doors and people were living there, so it's recent.
So will you guys have a current plan for what you want to do with it now? Is it like an update or,
Been around the commission a little bit longer than me, so
Like this selling.
The Inkster Housing Commission has worked out a disposition plan with Housing and Urban Development to dispose of the property through sale through the Section 18 program. So that what's going to be happening is that we're going to be disposing it to a private buyer. In exchange for that, we're going to be getting tenant protection vouchers or for the units that we're getting. So we're going to get 24 vouchers to use in exchange, plus the funds for the sale of the property.
okay, so selling the property is going to continue to be multifamily, and then ideally the residents who will be eligible to be in this property will be part of a voucher program. That's my right?
Part of that is what you were hearing. So what's going to be happening is the seller, we can't mandate that the seller follows our mission work. With once they purchase the property, we have gotten some flyers from them saying that they would be willing to do some affordable housing work in the community. We are trying to stress that, but ultimately, what's going to be happening? Is in order for them to buy what they thought they were buying, we need to make sure that the building is what we said it is, which is an apartment building that can operate.
I guess I don't know. You guys can tell me when is the proper time to ask this question, but I know that in the report we had mentioned that perhaps based on the master plan, we'd be updating the ordinance, and then this could eventually fall within the correct zoning. So I guess my question was, could we wait till we actually finish the master plan before this goes through?
I think it'll kill the deal.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There'll be no benefit.
And everyone's agreeing that the deal is something that we want to happen.
Tax revenue.
Tax
I
revenue.
mean, you look at it like this, since we built it, that means we wanted it to be there, obviously.
Right.
It's not, if we don't change it, let's say we didn't change it here or we didn't change it in the master plan. So now you got some that needs to be demolished, possibly. Then only single family homes can be built on. Who's paying for it to be demolished? Inkster Housing not going to do that. It would cost a great deal of money to demolish it. We want people to live in the city.
Right.
So if they're going to renovate it and pay taxes, that's ultimately what we want. And I'm looking, my goal is to change that whole area. You got the church next door, another vacant lot, that could be more multifamily. And obviously fix Harrison Street so people can drive.
Or teleport.
So the goal is to look at the whole zoning for the city, and we got to do what makes sense. We have a lot of vacant land, but we have to make it buildable by zoning it properly. I'm happy that housing's going to get some money off the sale, but it's really more important that people will be there and they're paying back taxes, and it's going to be renovated, so it'll make the neighborhood look a little better. And that's where we're going anyway. So why would we not? Essentially,
Okay.
we don't lose anything. I don't,
Who's the buyer?
Right.
that's a company, I don't know the name of the company. Yeah.
It's what is the name of that company? Sharon, I think they named it. Sharon. I don't have the two principals information here on this phone. I don't think I do.
I talked to their broker. I know that one of them is a lawyer from Dallas.
Yeah, one is.
One's a lawyer. I talked to their broker, but I don't know the name of the company.
It's two sisters. They've been doing this for a little while. They've been buying houses since I think they said about 2005. This is going to be their first commercial multi-family building that they're buying, but they've got several doors that they've bought and managed around Wayne County.
So right now, sell the property. We're not exactly sure what their plan is for it, but right now our priority is the tax revenue.
Oh, they're going to renovate.
They're going to be renovating it and turning it back into 24 two-bedroom units and trying to get it somewhere around market rent, and we're hoping for a carve-out of some of the units for affordable housing.
Gotcha.
Anything else, Commissioner Williams?
I think, at least so far, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. Quite the inquisitive. Appreciate it. Thank you.
She has all the questions.
Anybody else? Commissioner Hayes Bradford.
I want to be clear. You said they were having vouchers, but you're not locked in on the amount of vouchers.
We're so let me just make sure we clarify that. So in exchange for selling the property and liquidating units, the Inkster Housing Commission is going to be able to get 24 vouchers for that building so that we can use those units somewhere else in the community. We don't lose the ability to house. Plus we get cash in order to hopefully build something else and to deconcentrate what's going on down there and start spreading this stuff out with some new buildings.
Okay. So that's not necessarily, the vouchers are not for that.
No, we get them now. We may work out something that's got to be advantageous for us, but we may get something where we can go ahead and put some vouchers back in there with the owners. But we would probably want a little something for that in addition to that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything additional? Commissioners, anything else?
Norma looks very intense. I think she has.
I'm just trying to understand what type of residents are they trying to put in that building?
They're going to be tenants. There's probably, if putting myself in their position, I would be going for market rate tenants in a 24 unit, 2-bedroom or something like that, fair market rent for something that's going to be $1,200 a unit. So that's going to be their aim.
You said $1,200?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's about right.
market value.
That's probably just because there's no garage or anything.
Yeah, if it was a little bit more, you could get a little bit more. But yeah, fair market for a 2-bedroom clean and that about 800 square feet a unit, it's going to be a little over $1,200, just a smidge, $1,215 roughly.
And are they saying who they're marketing to?
People who want a place to stay, they are of the opinion that they will easily be able to fill that building once renovated, and I am of agreement in that.
Yeah, they will.
Anything additional, commissioners?
I may have one more thing. And so it could just be a statement. I guess this to me is just like a reason as to why I think it's urgent that we get this master plan completed, because I feel as if though that could actually help guide our decisions and saying yay or nay to these types of things. Right now, we're just hoping that it all works out for the future. And so I just wanted to get that on the record. Like, I understand that we want to, the building existed, it had multifamily units, it's in the best interest of Inkster Housing to be able to sell this property. However, if we had a master plan to refer to, it would help guide those questions as to what we would like to have there ultimately. And so I guess that's just the statement that I'm making.
I guess if we look at it like this, it's kind of what do we want to see for that area is the question. All of us are going to be involved with the master plan anyway, but really it's residential housing. It's just whether it's multifamily or single family or whatever it's going to be. We have a housing shortage. We haven't really spoke to that. There's a severe housing shortage. That's why the market is so hot.
Right.
So we need housing. So a lot of the vacant lands we have in the neighborhoods, it's all going to be we have to build housing, whether it's multifamily or single family.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes multifamily is more affordable, especially if you're trying to rent. Obviously, single family, you have to be able to develop it, build it. The cost of everything is up, and still put it at a price point where you can sell it in a particular area. So, I can't wait to do the master plan. I'm kind of like you. I'm ready to roll.
I don't know if you're as energized.
No, no.
Sam,
No one is. She's built a little different. You know? But I will probably sit back and let her watch my. Yeah.
Just really quick, I know Commissioner Williams to my right also has some, but just piggybacking on what Mayor Nola was talking about the housing shortage. When I attended the GMAR elected officials breakfast this morning, they actually were talking about that. And they asked all the elected officials in the audience, inclusive of myself and Councilwoman Rutledge, who was interested in receiving these monthly housing reports for the county. And every elected official raised their hand because we had never received anything like that. They talked about the median income, the market, all this stuff. And so they're kind of facilitate a way to get that information to us because of, as you all know, when you go to different communities, different elected officials don't believe there's a housing shortage, and they don't believe that more housing is going to resolve anything in the communities. You need businesses and so on and so forth. But I just wanted to piggyback on that because he did say there was a housing shortage, affordable housing shortage, really, you know, and that's what they were harping on earlier today. Commissioner Williams and then Commissioner Williams. I thought you had something else.
I want to kind of piggyback on that. Being in the real estate industry myself personally, there is a significant housing shortage, and it's not just even here. It's all over the country. But Michigan is suffering tremendously from it, and the pandemic just delayed the inevitable. So now that we're fully coming out of the pandemic, affordable housing is a crisis. And like even in Detroit, affordable housing is a crisis. So anywhere in our urban communities, affordable housing is a crisis. Now, what I wanted to ask Commissioner Miller is pertaining to, let's say, for instance, that either way this scenario goes, whether this goes to mayor and council, and of course, I can't see not going to mayor and council and not getting this grandfather back into where it should be in order to make it efficiently proper. What in the event that the transaction doesn't go through, is Inkster Housing in a position to possibly bring the property back to life in that capacity? In the event that the sale doesn't go through, you understand where I'm asking?
Yes.
I'm gonna keep my personal feelings out of that answer. So,
Please do.
but I will tell you that if we are unable to consummate this particular deal with this particular seller, there were 6 offers on that building.
Wow. Okay. And 6 other options.
6. So they are praying that the first deal does not go through. To further answer your question with regard to Inkster Housing specifically, if for some reason we had to, HUD is not buying, I guess that's the end, go ahead and do what you was doing before. They want the property to be redeveloped. Inkster Housing Commission also now has a subset, a small nonprofit that we're going to be using for development in the future, some of these funds are going to be funded. If we are unable to do that, then we will have an entity that will be looking to try and do something with regard to stabilizing the property. So yes.
I think that's very critical to know that either way it goes, because like you said, that's 24 2-bedroom units in a concentrated area that would do the city substantially better if it's on the tax roll, and then if not, if it's not on tax roll and it's still part of the city, that's 24 families that are placed.
Yeah. Okay. Anything additional?
That's it.
Let's say Commissioner Williams.
Well, I mean, and I understand that there's a housing shortage. Like you said, not just here, but nationwide. I was just speaking to, like I said, just working with intentionality, and speaking to our larger vision, and hopefully not having to kind of piece it all together along the way. So I definitely see the benefit. I just wish we.
This is not the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah, that part. That's pretty much what I'm saying. And so I think that's it for me.
Okay. Commissioners, anything else?
No.
All right, hearing none. Mr. Miller, Mr. Patton, did you have anything additional for us before we turn it over to the public?
No, we appreciate the line of questioning. Thank you for
Okay.
our consideration.
I only have one person from the general public. Do you have anything to say about this public hearing at this time?
I know that I was interested in my ethnic property.
Well, you all can talk after the meeting.
Right.
All righty. Well, there's no one else here from the general public, and I see no one approaching at this time, so we can go ahead. The floor is open for, I'm sorry, Mr. Dowdell, do you have anything additional?
Just summary of issues to consider, but we've kind of touched on the consistency with the master plan. Currently, it doesn't really fit the master plan, but as we stated before, we're going to be revising the master plan. And if you look at our future our future land use, like I said, to the east, which on Harrison, we say medium density. So it's something to consider, maybe just moving the line a little bit, because really the both of those properties abut each other.
Right, so is it currently medium density?
No,
Not Harrison.
correct. It's not.
Oh, it's not. Okay, so these are, so that's a proposed use currently. So it's currently is not. Okay, all right.
But it's just something to consider. That we have this property that's been at least 3 years has probably been closed.
At least.
So it was existing. It was just the fact that the zoning never fit. Where it was at some point the zoning changed or it never was zoned correctly, but it existed. And so that's one thing you might want to consider in the rezoning aspect of it. Or you could say that no, it's spot zoning and that's not what you want. But for one standpoint, the bills have to be paid somehow.
That's fine.
I think it's significant that the city built it,
Yeah.
So if we didn't zone it properly and built it, then shame on us. Obviously, we didn't mind it being there because we built it. Obviously that was a long time ago, but, I think we have to, every community who's running out of land has to look at multifamily. We can't just keep building single family because it takes up so much space,
Have we done spot zoning before?
And probably do have
Probably.
Yes.
It's not best practice.
No. Right.
But it happened.
But we have done it. So this wouldn't be the first time.
With the reversion clause.
Okay.
Dollar General was the most latest one.
Yeah, I remember that.
also in other communities, and I'm going to use Detroit as an example because that's where I worked at. Like you said, because of the housing crime, certain areas based on the land, that land right there, 1 acres for a single family, unless you're building a mini mansion, it could fit under a special land use. So that's one thing we also can consider if we wanted to try to close that gap with having multifamily and residential. We could make that as a special land use.
For which
Under
one?
certain conditions.
For which one? The multifamily?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
Because if you think about like duplexes and things of that nature, when cities were first forming, you might have, single family house, and then you might have a duplex next door. Or that corner lot might have 6 units.
Yeah.
So there's something, a standard that's kind of going back in planning as we get older, we're realizing, hey, we can have a diverse type of housing stock.
When it comes to the mixed-use housing and the future land use that you said was going up to Harrison, right? That's currently not what we think we want it to be, but maybe changed in the future. That's pretty much what we could use it for. It's like, to your point, maybe a duplex here or there, but then, or would it just all be multifamily?
It depends.
Well, duplex is multifamily.
Right, but I'm saying, because he said at one point, like, maybe you could have a single family somewhere, but then a multifamily not far from it.
Corner, or depending on how the parcel is laid out.
So then that's what I was asking with the future land use. Do we have something like that in the works where we could do the two, or it would just be the multi?
Oh, we can do whatever we want to make. I mean, it's up to us.
Well, he has a future map right now.
We're creating the future with the master plan. So, we ain't got to worry about his map.
Okay.
He didn't write that map.
In the near past, we had discussed, I forget which meeting it was or which conversation. I believe it was a presentation. It could have been one of those ones where, MEDC was here? And they showed us that, and they were basically saying we were losing out potentially, and don't quote me on this, I might be paraphrasing, on some funding or housing because we didn't have that set in place, like when you go to Dearborn Heights, which is literally down the street from us, where it's small house mansion, medium house mansion, and so on and so forth. So they were just talking about that as something we did need to update in our master plan for multifamily units.
Yeah, do we want that though? Do we want small house?
No, we don't.
We don't.
We need a better plan.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
$1 million house, $100 million.
Yeah.
You can't see out.
Yeah.
That part, yeah. Okay,
Alright.
so
Did you have anything additional, Mr. Dada, before we close out?
Just in closing, I hate to say it, but I kind of punted on this situation. You have the option to recommend it because we are eventually going to do the revise the master plan and eventually the zoning map, or you can deny it because it's spot zoning and it's non-conforming.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you. At this time, commissioners, the floor is open for a motion to close the public hearing.
so move.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. The public hearing is now closed. We're down to item number 6, unfinished business. Looks like we have none. Item number 7, new business. Item 7A, case number 24-1, Z, zoning map amendment to allow an R1B, one family residential, parcel to be rezoned to RM, restricted multiple dwelling, low rise. The floor is open for a motion to recommend approval to city council or recommend denial to city council. What is your pleasure? Going once.
I recommend approval. Support.
It's been properly moved and supported. Is there any unreadiness?
Am I ready?
I think they make pills for that.
But if as a body, if we feel like it's in the best interest of Inkster, like I said, I put it on record. I would prefer that we have a master plan before we make decisions like this. But it also was a building that existed already and was, functional and being used for a period of time until it wasn't recently. And so with that information in mind, guess I can support it. But I wish we had a more formal process in place.
Understood.
Yeah.
Is there any further unreadiness? Hearing none, all in favor?
Okay.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Say for the record.
Because I
Well,
have,
you would say I abstain.
I abstained
All right.
because, so I can word it the way. I have a outstanding contract with the Inkster Housing Commission currently, so I have to enforce myself from the vote.
Okay. We got 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we still good.
Okay. So just one abstention, no no's, motion passes. All righty. And let the record reflect that, please. Why Commissioner Tanya Williams abstained.
She's rich.
We're down to item number 8, miscellaneous. Earlier, we talked about the Google Drive filing system, secretary responsibilities, recorded secretary responsibilities, and roll call. So, Commissioner Ashley Williams, go right ahead.
So as far as the filing system is concerned, and long story short, it needs to be a way that we can access final documents, whether it be the master plan, any handbooks, orientation materials, policy. And that currently doesn't exist. And so as you guys all know, sometimes you have to go through or scroll through your email account trying to find the latest version of something. But if we had a central place that we could access to say, hey, this is the latest minutes or this is the latest agenda, report, so forth and so forth, I think that would be to our benefit. If it works amongst this body and we like it, tweak it a little bit, depending on, what we see works and doesn't, then perhaps it's something that we can recommend to other bodies, including city council, just to get us a more organized. It's essentially the point.
It definitely needs to happen. I think the conversation with our IT department is we're going to use SharePoint
Okay.
and Microsoft system because we already have Microsoft. But people are not necessarily using it yet.
Okay.
It's been a conversation. We haven't been trained specifically. I don't know how much training you need, but it's pretty simple.
But you have it already.
But we do
You
have
have a license. Okay.
Yeah, we bought the license. Yeah.
Got it.
And actually, you know, when we were speaking earlier and I talked about the PDF that I had tried to email out, that's what it did. It created a SharePoint link. So I was able to access it, but the general public wasn't. And what I was trying to share was the DPS presentation. When I went out from the potholes and I put it on Facebook, I understood the backlash and the kudos I was going to get. And when I tried to share it, it came up as a link. But when I clicked on it from a different device, that's when I realized, like, oh, snap, you have to have these particular City of Inkster credentials to log in. So when I spoke with Commissioner Williams, she was talking about Google Drive, which is out there too, because different school systems, things of that nature use it. But as the mayor said, we have SharePoint. So I guess we could go with that first. Commissioner actually Williams did speak on facilitating all of this. So
She's so organized.
I am, and for I actually have done this. I've done presentations and trainings on how to properly organize files for efficient use, including the data. I'm a data person, so I'm more than happy to lead the charge.
and what I told her is, because she wanted to do it broadly, I said, let's start the Plan Commission first as a pilot. Let's work out all the bugs, test and tune, and then go from that point and tell City Council, this is what the commission is doing. This is how it works. So we can have a procedural thing already, so nobody's trying to invent a wheel and they don't even know how to drive a car.
And that's critical in that whole aspect of and that was one of the things with the RRC that's going to be really add on to what we need to do to show where we're progressing along in this process. And Commissioner Williams, I will assist you in that.
Oh, thank you.
I'm my bachelor's of computer information and systems, so I'm techie too.
And just so you know, she does want to start on this tomorrow.
Well,
I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah. I said I would imagine that I could. Well, now it looks like I actually have to touch base with someone about SharePoint, because this was originally a Google Drive conversation. So then I was like, oh, I can have that finished by next Friday.
Everybody uses Google Drive already. So we could, if y'all want to do, I don't care. I mean, the city's going to use SharePoint.
Okay.
But it doesn't have to be a city thing for the planning commission.
Can we? Okay. Yeah, because they don't all have City Inkster domains. We would, because we're elected officials, and employees would, but not the community and not anybody who has a regular email list.
And I think that, but I think so. I guess, Your Honor, my question would be, if we went to a Google Drive.
Who are you letting it? Are you Your Honor? I'll get ready to buy.
Mayor, Your Honor. Okay.
You see how he's smiling?
What I want to know is, if in the case you're right, Google Drive would probably be easier for the individual body. If we are able to bring those documentation, everything into a Google Drive account that can be
Accessed by us and then maybe future boards or commissions.
or can that link go on the Planning Commission's page for documents for the public?
I think, well, from my initial thought is that, there's a lot of things that could be accessed for the public, but would we want it to just be a downloadable PDF available on the website? And then the share drive itself would just be a separate entity that we're all accessing, because if things need to be updated, you know what I mean, we can go find the latest version, even update it in real time. And then if it needs to be voted or not, depending on what it is, that final version can then eventually be rolled out to the website.
Yep. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because if you guys, for instance, are
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
The storage aspect of it, after a certain point, you have to, pay for the storage.
But
There's plenty of storage.
plenty of storage. There's plenty of storage, because basically the only thing that would probably take up a significant amount of space may be pictures. But again, that's a simple conversion. You can even convert photos into a PDF file, which will take the sizes down substantially.
Or a zip drive.
Yeah, you can zip the file.
Yeah, zip file.
That aspect we shouldn't run into this. And then even if we do need to upgrade further down the road, it's like $1.99 a month, like a terabyte. So I mean,
She's rich.
yeah, but, yeah. So municipal, I think we shouldn't run into a problem with that.
Okay, well, you guys can work all that out. I was just in support of it. And we spoke about it earlier, and I told her to just go ahead and bring it before us tonight under miscellaneous, and just go from there.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like that we'll just move forward, and then I'll touch base with you, and then we'll give each other feedback, and hopefully we'll have something that we can invite everybody to by next Friday. Not this Friday.
Next Friday.
I'm going to be out of town the next couple of days.
Okay. Next item, recorded secretary responsibilities.
So I'm bringing this up because, as you guys know, back in December, I think you guys all had to talk me off a ledge to accept the secretary position. And at that time, it was explained to me that the minutes would be completed and I would just certify or review a draft. And then after that, she's not here to speak to it, but Jane confirmed that with me, that she was going to be the one that was going to do the draft, and then I review, make sure all the votes were correct, certify, but now she's gone. So are we in a place in which the expectation is that I would have to actually do the minutes? And if so, can I step down and then we can put it on the table for someone else to do?
Well, he can be Jane.
Yeah.
He's gonna be here anyways.
Okay.
He can take the minutes. You can review that draft.
Okay. Because that was how I was accepting it. It was going to be.
That's the way it's always been.
Okay.
Good. Yeah,
But you took the minutes tonight.
Rebecca used to take the minutes. She would bring it on before. That's how it was when I'm back here.
Rebecca Daniels? Yeah. Oh, she was up here. I forgot. Yeah.
She had a template.
I mean, somebody up there can take the minutes, but, since we're participating, maybe somebody else should take it.
Right. And I was explaining to Commissioner Williams, when we went to Zoom, what Caitlin had did was just ask if someone assisted with taking the votes, because it was so much happening on Zoom. And this is during the pandemic, because then when you're trying to go back and recall stuff, and if the video didn't upload or save correctly, whatever that case may be. And I know when we came back in person, everything was being handled by planning, and then it shifted, and they did have a template, but it was just confusion, and Commissioner Williams wanted some clarity.
Yeah.
Because like she said, she was dependent upon if all she had to do was certify. She didn't want to necessarily take that task on. Now, if there is anybody that wants to take the task on, feel free. But other than that,
But years ago, when I was on the planning commission, it was always a staff person. It was Sadia Johnson that took the minutes. So it's always been a staff person taking the minutes. And all we did, as you were secretary of the commission, was review them and sign off on it. That's all.
Yeah. So I will still be willing to do it if that's what it is. But if it's changed, then
Are you willing to do it?
I would say I would be willing to certify. Get it to me. I will certify. But if I have to actually take it, then I will respectfally step down.
We can't have that happen. We'll figure it out.
And back in the day, Sadia would have like a recorder. She had recorded so that she could easily
Go back.
transcribe. So absolutely.
All right. Well, I can't say Slaughter used to get paid for that.
You getting paid too?
Addition.
We'll get you a gift card to McDonald's.
Sadia did not get paid extra.
So moving forward, just saying planning, we'll do the minutes and then it'll forward it to me for certification. We're saying that? Okay.
okay. All right. And then the last thing is roll call.
Oh, yeah. So I need to do roll call?
Well,
It used to be a staff person. It used to be a staff person.
Yeah.
And again, we had an assistant. So I know the assistant that's working at planning now is, she's only here during the day?
Oh, no, she's a senior.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying she's only here during the day. Okay.
She's not coming.
Yeah, so we know that. But one of the assistants from planning used to take the roll call. But again, I just went down the line of who was present, tonight.
I know your guys' first name. I just didn't know all your last names. So that's why.
And like on these agendas, our names aren't listed like it's city council, where you could just go down that particular list. So that's only.
Can we add that to
Right. Can we add it?
Sure, why not? So we want to add commissioners' names to the agenda.
Yeah.
Then all we have to mark is whether they were present
Exactly.
or
Absent, yeah.
absent. Okay, absent or excused. Okay.
Only have to do it one time.
Yep. All right. So that's that. We're moving down to second hearing of the public for items not scheduled for a public hearing or on the agenda. So anybody here from the general public who wishes to speak at this time, this is a public comment for you.
Okay.
Seeing and hearing no movement. Moving right along to favorite part of the meeting, adjournment.
So moved.
It's been properly moved, second and supported. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. This meeting is now adjourned at 7:28 p.m.
Well, we wanted to discuss whether we should be done.
Would you like to rescind your?
No. Oh, that wasn't bad.